You are listening to Insurance Untangled podcast, where we explore the various challenges faced by dental practices due to their reliance on insurance. In this podcast, we dive deep into the issues surrounding dental insurance dependence and offer practical solutions and strategies for reducing your reliance on insurance. Join us as we interview industry experts, share success stories, and provide valuable insights to help you take control of your practice's financial future.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. I'm your co-host today, Jordan Comstock. With me, I got Ben and Naren. What's up, dogs? How you doing?
What's up, Jordan?
Doing great, Jordan. I heard you moved to a new office, so congratulations.
Moved to a new office. Yeah, it is awesome because of the morale, the energy. It's fun. We still have to move a lot of stuff. We're here, and I'm like, I don't want to get all that other stuff or worry about it. Well, let's just sell it.
Sell it and buy new.
Yeah. So no, it's a great office. We had Ben in last week hanging out with us. So it's always fun to hang out with buddies in the new office.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be interviewing Naren, some marketing questions. The title is Top 3 Marketing Questions Practice Owners Ask, which is awesome. I love the voice of the industry, right? Listening to practice owners and what they are worried about and trying to solve in their practice. So we'll start with some questions. We'll get right into it. So question number one, the top question practice owners ask: what are my digital marketing options, and what are the pros and cons of each option?
Yeah, that's a great question because, if you really think about it, the reason practice owners are entangled with insurance is because they don't have strong marketing. So they sign up for PPO plans, but PPO plans don't send them a bill saying, hey, here is your marketing fee. Instead, they keep the money right off the top. So let's say you do $1,000 procedure, they'll keep $500 or $450 and pay you $550.
Invisible fee. Yeah.
It's an invisible fee. And it's not just the very first time you see that new patient, it's for the life of that patient. So let's say the patient stays, 10 years, every single visit, you're giving up 45%, 50% of what you make as a marketing fee. So the smart ones are waking up and saying, why do I need to pay 45%, 50% for the life of the patient? Every single time they come in, I'm giving this invisible fee to the insurance company, the PPO plan. Why don't I spend 5% instead of 45%?
Yeah.
Why don't I spend 2% instead of 45%?
What's
so
the
of course,
Oh, sorry, Naren. I just had a thought. What's the math on that? Like, if the average practice is writing off 40%,
yeah.
for one patient, that would mean, it just depends on their work, but on average, do we know how much for one patient they're losing?
Yeah, so I'll give you an actual case study. So we had a practice not too long ago. They were writing off 42%, which is kind of low these days because the insurance fees haven't gone up. Actually, some plans are still cutting fees, versus the costs have gone up astronomically over the last 3-4 years, like 30-40%. So when your costs go up, but the revenue doesn't go up,
That's a problem.
Your percentage of your revenue as the revenue goes up, right? Because you're losing more money and you're making less. So it's kind of a big issue. So anyways, so this $1 million practice, 42% was the average write-off, and they had 80% of their patients from PPO plans.
Mm-hmm.
They were writing off $560,000 a year. So if you do the math, that's close to $47,000 or $46,000 a month. I mean, it's massive. It's like the number one expense in their monthly income and expense. But because it's not a check they write, it's invisible. Nobody realizes it. So they're busy saving pennies on, gloves or whatever else. But here they are getting, killed in one thing, like where it's just right off the top, so that particular practice has to produce $1.56 million worth of dentistry because that 560 or 530,000 goes to the insurance company. So then now they only get to keep the rest. So pretty much you have to do more work because you have to do the work for $1.5, $6 million worth of dentistry. So it's pretty painful and tough.
Yikes. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
So digital marketing practices, the ones who are really good at digital marketing spend, around 5%. That's kind of a decent number that I've seen. Now, again, depending on the type of digital marketing, you could even cut it down to 2%. So the four different ways you can do digital marketing are SEO, search engine optimization. When somebody types something in, you show up and it's free. You don't pay Google to show up near the top of Google search results. So you optimize the search engines so that you show up for those search terms. Second is Google Ads. So pretty much when people type those exact search keywords, you buy an ad. You'll say, I'll pay $4 if you show my ad every time somebody clicks on that ad next to this keyword. That's called Google Ads, pay-per-click. That's the second. And the third one is organic social media, where you get free traffic from social media platforms, just like you get free traffic from SEO/Google. And the fourth one is you pay ad money for social media companies, Instagram, TikTok. So those are the four options.
Yeah.
I think you asked me a question about pros and cons. So the pro of SEO is it's the lowest cost, right? If you compare SEO to Google Ads, it's 1/5 the cost for the same patient. If you compare SEO to social media ads, it's 1/10 the cost. It's the lowest cost. The con is it takes a bit of time and it takes a lot of effort, and you need to know what you're doing. So you need to have experts. You have to put hundreds of hours into it, not just one time, but ongoing. We put 500 hours in year one and then 30 hours a month thereafter. So it's a lot of work, and you need experts to do the work. And usually it takes some time for you to start getting results. Like we tell our clients, by the end of 12 months, you should rank for 100 keywords on page one. That means you're in the top 5% when it comes to SEO within 12 months. And you will get at least 20 new patients by the end of year one, just from SEO alone. So it is slow, but it's the most cost effective, and you also get the highest quality patients. Organic social media, just like SEO, is only for like the top 5%, meaning the others almost get no free traffic from Google. Organic social media, you have to be in the top 1%. You have to be an influencer. So if you're not an influencer who's spending 15, 20 hours a week, and you're not in that 1% of influencers, you won't get anything from free social media. So don't waste your time if you're not in that 1% and you're not an influencer when it comes to like posting on social media. Maybe spend a maximum of an hour a week, but don't go beyond that. Now, social media ads is the most expensive, and it's because it's an ad, and also somebody's watching a cat video and you're showing an ad for a dentist. The chances of them showing up or remembering you is not a lot. So even compared to Google Ads, it's the worst. But if you have maxed out your SEO, you have maxed out Google Ads, then social media ads make sense.
Little kitty cat videos on social media.
There's a lot of influencers on social media these days.
Yeah, I mean, I go shopping and I see like at least 2 or 3 times somebody with a camera and somebody doing something in the middle of the road. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And these are all kids, even 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds.
Yeah.
The TikTok dance videos.
My favorite are the food review influencers. I actually sat next to one at a French restaurant once.
Really?
And she was filming and rating the food, because we watch those my son and I watch those all the time. Like the different food experts that we know. But no, that's cool, Naren. I think so Jordan asked the top questions that practice owners ask in terms of pros and cons of different digital marketing options. So I think the second most popular question that practice owners ask regarding marketing is, what are the top 3 mistakes that practice owners make when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't believe in working hard. I believe in working smart. So these mistakes come from that perspective, right? If you want to work really, really, really hard and get very little results for it, some may consider these are not mistakes. But if you want to work smart and get the most out of your money and time, then of course, these are the biggest mistakes. The first one is not dominating Google SEO. The catch is 5% of practice owners will get 95% of the free traffic. So if you don't get into the top 5%, you get nothing for it. So that's That's tough. But if you do get into the top 5%, you have an unfair advantage. Your marketing cost would be 1/5 the cost of Google Ads people, 1/10 the cost of social media ads people, and 1/30 the cost of, PPO plan, people, right? So you have an unfair advantage. But it's not easy to get in the top 5%. But then again, getting into dental school and becoming a dentist is not something that the bottom 95% do. It's really the top 5 or top 3% do, right? So it's not a concept that dentists do not understand. Like, how do you get into the top 5%? How do you dominate something that's not easy to dominate? The second mistake I see practice owners making is they don't even know how they are doing on the phone. So things like, okay, what percentage of new patients are booking appointments? They have no idea. And if I usually ask them, they're like, oh, we're doing great. How do you know? Well, I talked to my team. They said we are doing great. I mean, it's like saying
emotional data.
Yeah, emotional data. It's like asking
not logical data.
12-year-old, how did you do on math? Oh, I'm doing great. How do you know? Well, I think I did great.
Versus, I think I'm doing good.
Versus, okay, show me your exam, or
show me the evidence, boy.
I got a D+. It's a passing grade. Give me a break.
Right? And that's how I was when I was a kid. I'm like, yeah, D+. I'm doing great.
They didn't kick me out, so I'm doing great.
I'm doing great. It's working.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the second mistake I see practice owners make, not even knowing, what their call conversion rate is. It's like, if you don't know what your grade is, or if you don't know what your mark is, how do you improve it, right? It sounds so basic and obvious, but still the average dental practice only books 1 out of 3 new patients. That's the average. So that's not really good. So how do you change that, right? So of course, start by figuring out what your conversion rate is.
How to optimize it, yeah.
Exactly. And the last one is, the landing pages. So people are finding you. They are really, really interested in something, right? Veneers, crowns, Invisalign, whatever it is. But when I go to that page, either through Google Ad or through SEO, that page is not very impressive. Like, it's the vanilla page, just some information there. I don't see any cases, ideally full face pictures of the before and after where I can see the transformation. I don't see any videos where I get to know the doctor before I come in and feel comfortable.
I like doing that. Or I like seeing that on a website, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, everyone kind of goes through a similar process when they're picking a doctor, and it's usually, do I trust you? Do I like you? Are you an expert, right? Like, if you're an expert, show me the before and afters. Don't tell me you're an expert. Show it to me, because I want your work to do the talking. And many doctors have all of this, but they just haven't had the discipline to work on it, organize it, share it. And also, many of them don't even rank. So who cares, right? So I guess that's why they don't share it, because they're like, okay, nobody's going to see it anyway. So why bother? But if you are doing well with SEO or Google Ads and you're getting a lot of traffic to those pages, you better have amazing pages that make people want to pick up the phone and call your office.
Yeah, that's awesome. So those three, so people make mistakes not dominating Google SEO, optimizing for call conversions, and not working on their landing pages, which are a couple of those are very technical marketing components, and an office may not have a person in-house that are doing those types of things, or even knowing how to look at those things. So no, that's really interesting. My next question is, why is dominating Google SEO so important for dental practice?
Yeah, because every successful business, Jordan, this, Ben, this, are doing a few things that their competition is not able to do, right? So imagine being in the top 5% who gets 95% of the free traffic. And these are not people who are saying, is it covered by insurance? These are people who are saying, I'm looking for a sedation dentist. I'm looking for Invisalign. I'm looking for veneers. They're willing to write checks because, they want a solution. It's like, somebody going on a trip is willing to write a check for that trip. Somebody who wants to redo their kitchen is willing to write a check to redo their kitchen, right? They're ready. They're looking for solutions. They're looking for, the right person who can help them. And these are big checks. But unfortunately, they can't even find you if you're not ranking. And of course, you can buy ads, but the minute you buy ads, they know you paid for the ad, so they don't trust you. So it's like, well, it's going to be a lot harder convincing somebody who doesn't trust you right off the bat versus convincing somebody who thinks you're really good because you showed up on Google when they typed in whatever they're looking for. So for lots of reasons, one is the cost advantage I talked about. Like, your cost will be like a fraction of the cost of people running Google ads, people running social media ads. So if you can save that kind of money every year for the next 20 years, what does that mean, right? And now that extra money, you can invest it. You can invest in tech, you can invest in your people. So you can even use that money to grow your business even further. And the second is the trust factor. Like when people see you showing up at the top of Google, like LifeSmiles is one of the clients we work with in Phoenix. They're showing up on page 1 and most of the keywords, on top 3 results for like 800 keywords, they're on page 1 and 300 keywords, they're on the top 3 results. So after a while, people living in Phoenix thinks there's LifeSmiles and then there's everybody else. So, I want to be LifeSmiles because there are 1,400 other people like, competing for the scraps. And then LifeSmile stands on its, just in its own corner as the best. It's like Apple versus the other 100 companies selling computers and phones. Apple stands on its own, right? So this unfair advantage, you can then build on it and create an empire out of it. So, I mean, it is one of those things, where it's hard to get, like you have to be in the top 5%, but if you get there, then as long as you don't lose it, keep it. It's like, going to the top dental school probably, or going to a dental school changed your life versus the average person. Of course, you want to build on it and make more and more out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So imagine that if you master that, Naren, like you dominate Google SEO. I imagine that the game's not over. So you get these phone calls of people coming in that are interested, and one thing that comes to mind is that a lot of times the conversion rate of getting people scheduled when they call in, for some practices they suffer with that. So what's your suggestion on what can be done to improve call conversions resulting from good marketing efforts like Google SEO?
Yeah, so this is something I noticed. A lot of practices that are PPO and becoming marketing driven versus PPO driven, like they will go to a dentist as long as the dentist has a breath. You know what I mean? Like, because they don't care. They just know that you're on the PPO plan and they come to you. So the practice gets used to that type of a client base, that type of a patient base. Of course, the only question they ask is it covered? So if it's not covered, veneers, crown, sedation, then they don't do it. So that's why those practices are doing, one tooth dentistry and, scraping by and like never growing. They're just stuck at 1 million or stuck at whatever the number is. But the minute they decide to make the move to a marketing driven practice where people are coming to you because they're finding you on Google, etc., the team is not ready. The team is not trained. They don't even know what their conversion rate is. So start by measuring your conversion rate. The only way to measure it is, listen to all the calls and figure out of all the calls, how many are new patient calls, how many booked, how many did not book, right? So we do that with the help of AI, and we do that to help our clients optimize call conversions. And the reason we do that is, imagine a client is getting 100 new patient calls, but only 25 are booking. Doesn't matter how much more new patients we get them to call the office, it's going to get wasted, right? So we have to help the client solve that problem of call conversion. So at no extra cost, we do that, if we think that's the problem. So I don't know who your marketing company is. I don't know if they're listening to calls. I don't know if they're giving you the call conversion rate, but it's a really, really, really important metric. It's time consuming because listening to 100 calls might take 12, 13 hours, and then doing all the calculations and categorization and all that stuff will take even more hours, but somebody has to do it. And then once you get that data, every week, every month, listen to some calls, good and bad. Good meaning they booked, and bad meaning they did not book. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, your team will start noticing the mistakes they're making. They're like, oh yeah, I know why this person didn't book. Oh, I should have said hello. I should have mentioned my name. I should have asked for their name. I should have, try to empathize with them when they are in pain. Like, they'll start noticing things they did not do that would have helped them be a better person answering the phone. So knowing your call conversion rate, having the monthly call, monthly team meeting where you're listening to 6 calls, 3 good and 3 bad. These are all good habits to improve call conversions.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Naren. So you talk about landing pages, and man, online management of like landing pages can be really complicated. How can a practice improve? I mean, they probably don't even know how to optimize a landing page, or what works. What do you suggest they do?
Yeah, I mean, in the episode we did, I think a few episodes ago, Jordan, you talked about building a practice that can thrive without you, right?
Yes.
The fundamental difference between a business or a practice that thrives without you is the owner of that business figures out 6, 7, 8 things that are critical for their success. And then he makes sure, or she makes sure, that those things are taken care of day in and day out, week in and week out, right? So a lot of practice owners, unfortunately, the ones who are PPO dependent, they got a lot of patients who came to them because they had a heartbeat, literally because they were on the PPO plan. They didn't really care. So you didn't really have to, worry about attracting patients. You never really had to build that muscle of attracting patients. And attracting patients is, you need to get people to find you, right? That's where SEO comes in. And then once they find you, why should they choose you? Like the pages they are on should convince them to choose you. So because you're a PPO practice, you never built that muscle. You didn't have to, but now you have to. So the way I recommend is allocate like 30 minutes a week to work on marketing or the website, right? So for example, start by looking for pictures, sending it to your marketing company, like with proper write-ups, like proper formatting. Okay, here are the 4 pictures. Here are the teeth pictures before and after. Here are the full face pictures. Here are the write-ups. First bullet point, this is what happened. This is why the patient came in. Second bullet point, what you did. Third bullet point, what was the outcome? How did you solve it? Like I used this, I used that. This is how the patient felt. And most importantly, the pictures themselves, they do the talking. Don't try to boil the ocean. This is a mistake. People are like, oh, I suck. I have never done this. Oh, look at that other guy. He has 17 on this page and 14 on the other page, and you give up, right? Don't do that. Just allocate like the 30 minutes or an hour a week. So maybe the Friday you're not working, block it into your calendar and just get the first case done, first case organized, send it to your marketing company, tell them to put it on the relevant page. So if it's a Vineas, case, then put it on the Vineas page. Of course, if the marketing company is not getting the Vineas page to rank on Google, then of course, this is a pointless exercise. But I'm assuming you have overcome Google, you are in the top 5%. But if you're in the top 5%, work on those pages that are ranking, right? So one is the before and afters. That's what shows people you are an expert. It's like, imagine you are looking to redo your kitchen and the website you go to has 17 kitchens, very similar to the ones you want to have done. And you're like, wow, I like this particular one. And I want even the colors and the look and the feel. And you talk to the contractor saying, hey, can you help me do something like this? Now you trust that person because right off the bat, they have done exactly what you're looking for, right? Second one is the videos, right? The number one reason people don't accept treatment is they don't feel comfortable with the doctor. They don't feel the doctor listens to them. They don't feel the doctor understands them. So imagine having a simple video that says, hello, I'm Jenny, or I'm Dr. Smith. I've been doing implants for the last 10 years. I love to help you. Please check out my page. Here are all the cases I have done. Here are all the patients I've helped. Call my office. Even using phrases like, welcome to my implants page. I'm so glad you're here. How many people welcome you? Like immediately when somebody welcomes you, you like that person. Now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your implants page is working for you, getting people to like you, getting people to see you as an expert. But if you don't put that 30 minutes a week working on that implant page, working on the Vineas page, it's going to suck today. It's going to suck a year from now. It's going to suck 2 years from now. So just have to put some time into it and just make tiny progress, tiny steps, one thing a week, one case a week, one video the next week, and so forth. Before you know it, you have done 52 things. At the end of the year, you have 52 things that are helping people choose you.
Yeah, that's excellent, Naren. The third and final question that we have here with regards to, the most common questions that doctor asks, and then we'll kind of close out this episode here with let listeners kind of marinate with all the great stuff that you shared. So this question is, marketing a lot of times doesn't generate enough new patients according to what doctors desire. So if doctors are looking for an alternative in terms of, especially the things that you went over, where can they start, Naren?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the best place to start is to find out where you stand, right? Like I know a lot of times, like the first thing I remember when I went into my university program, they did an assessment. They wanted to know what our math knowledge was. They wanted to know where we are in terms of writing and so forth. And then that helped the university to say, hey, here you need some extra help. So you need to do this additional math classes. Here you don't need the extra help. So we are going to put you to the advanced class, right? Because you are crushing it. So every person is different. Every person comes from a different background, different high school, different country even. So just doing that assessment is really, really useful if I'm running a university. Same way for you, the business owner, you need to know where you stand. So have somebody do a marketing assessment. We offer one for free. We call it the marketing strategy meeting. We spend 6 hours doing research, looking at your digital presence, looking at your online presence, and we'll give you a report card. We'll say, okay, on all the different components of digital marketing, where do you stand? Even within SEO, there are 6 things Google cares about. In those 6 things, where do you stand? Are you getting an A for NAP, one of those 6 things, or are you getting a C? Similarly, like, where do you stand? And also a plan. So regardless of where you are, if your goal is to get into the top 5% from an SEO perspective, what are the actions you have to take over the next 12 months? What are the goals you have to set over the next 12 months? So literally giving you a blueprint, a plan, a 12-month plan to get you into the top 5%. So, do the marketing strategy meeting. Anyone who's a listener of Insurance Untangled, it's our gift to you, insuranceuntangledcom/MSM, insuranceuntangledcom/MSM. Check it out. And once you check it out, then you decide what you want to do with it. Of course, we can help you, or you can hire some other firm, but start with a blueprint, start with a report card and a plan.
That's excellent. Excellent advice, Naren. I always learn so much from you. I'm sort of kind of thinking in my mind, if I did all these things right, I'd probably be unstoppable. And I probably
you are unstoppable, Ben.
Yeah, better implement last week's episode with Jordan on how to have the owner sort of take a step back, let the business getting out of people's way is basically how Jordan phrased it, right?
Yeah, fire my ass. That's what I said.
So Naren, thank you so much for all the wonderful tips and advice regarding marketing, digital marketing, SEO, and all that fun stuff. So
great stuff.
We appreciate you, Naren. And for our listeners, thank you for joining us today. Another amazing episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to share this with your friends on social media. We also appreciate your reviews. Your reviews will help other doctors and team members find us and engage in our awesome content. Also, please write a review about us on your favorite podcast platform. And by the way, don't forget to visit insuranceuntangledcom for future events, including webinars and other events that we'll be posting on the website. Until next time, we wish everybody the best of success, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.